So good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to see the value of meaningful activities through the cancer journey. With us tonight is Nathan Sharbaugh. He's an occupational therapist and the director of the Innovation Center at UPMC McGee Women's Hospital, where he develops community programs that promote strength, mobility, and independence. He is especially passionate about supporting individuals facing complex health challenges, including cancer, by promoting meaningful activity, safe movement, and strategies that maintain quality of life across the lifespan. His work focuses on translating research into practical tools that help people stay engaged in the activities that matter most. Nathan is currently pursuing his clinical doctorate in occupational therapy at the University of Pittsburgh. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. I greatly appreciate it and really appreciate the time that you guys have given me to be able to present this because it does it matters a lot to me personally too. I have a mother who has been going through cancer and one of my coworkers as well. So it impacts everybody's lives at some point and at some level. But this was really exciting. I was thrilled to be invited and to be sharing the information that I have. Hopefully, you guys find value in this as well. Um, has anybody? We'll go ahead. Oops, get started here. So I'd like to start off by talking about what is occupational therapy. And feel free to put this in the chat if you want, but you don't have to. Has anybody ever had an occupational therapist before?
One day.
And that's okay. Oh, yay, we have one.
Uh,
um,
well,
we don't always hear. I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way. We're not always part of the care teams, and a lot of times it's because of reimbursement. But I do want to talk a little bit about what occupational therapy is, and we're going to start with talking about the roots of OT. You might hear other clinicians say OT works on a lot of fine motor skills, or they help me get in and out of bed, do my activities that I need to do. But the roots of occupational therapy are far more fascinating than that. It was founded in the early 1900s, and they actually went to, at the time, they were called insane asylums. And they would go to these institutions where people would be doing absolutely nothing, and they started giving them meaningful activities. They started giving them crafts, activities, exercises, and they found that their symptoms started to go away when they ended up being more engaged in things that were important to them. So that's really what OT was founded on. It was really founded as a mental health profession as opposed to a rehabilitation profession. So the strongest value of OT is not rooted just in strength and conditioning. It's not rooted in being stronger. It's rooted in being able to care for yourself, improving your mental health, and ultimately becoming more independent. So we're going to talk about two main themes today, and we're going to talk about the physical activity, which is also very important. I'm not saying our PT friends aren't, but we're also going to talk about the mental activity as well. So first, we'll start with the physical activities here. In just starting off about some of the common side effects of cancer and cancer treatment. And again, this is just from the research and talking to some people that I know, but what I often hear is it's the physical side effects are fatigue, muscle weakness, joint pain, joint stiffness, difficulty with balance, neuropathy, bone loss or reduced bone density. And then on the cognitive side, there's brain fog, sleep disruption, mood changes, and all of these are completely normal as we're going through all of these changes. But is there anything else, or is there one that anybody here has found particularly frustrating, or kind of the pillar of, oh, this has been the most difficult part of going through any of this? And again, you don't have to share. If you don't want to, you could just think about it as well as we continue on through here. So why staying active matters. And these are things we all probably know. You know, if you stay active, you increase your overall strength, you improve your physical reserve, you're going to improve your overall function. You'll reduce your fatigue and improve your recovery capacity. And again, this is nothing groundbreaking. It's things that most of you guys probably already know. The more active we are, the healthier our bodies are. Oh, I got something in the chat: lack of independence, ADLs, and depression. Yeah, those are very common and great answers there. Why staying active matters. Again, this is stuff that we do already know. It's important. It's important for us to stay physically mobile. So there is this really great connection from exercise to cognitive health. I'm going to show you an image you may have seen before. But before I do that, I may be calling myself out here a little bit, but I know when I do nothing all day, I tend to get a little cranky myself, or tend to get frustrated. And that's really common. And I'm going to show you a picture here now of just acute exercise, meaning short term. This is if you were to sit quietly for 20 minutes, this is your brain activity. There's not a lot going on, and it's important that our brain gets rest too. That's why we need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. But this is our brain activity after just 20 minutes of walking, which is fascinating to me. We're not really exercising our cognitive skills. All we're doing is moving our body. So there's this really great connection between movement and feeling better. So next is this cycle, and if somebody wants to help me come up with a better name of it than the cycle, I'm taking suggestions. But what happens is we will have fatigue or pain, which
We're
is
not see we're not seeing your screen.
Oh no, Lisa.
I don't know because I'm seeing it.
Oh, I have a chat in there that they're seeing it as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing it also.
Well, we are recording this, so I'll put it out on the internet soon. If you can't see, because I'm not sure what to do. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's right.
You know what? I went to just the speaker view on my screen and now I can see it.
Great.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, I was on gallery.
Ah, all right, no worries. So
Okay.
if you didn't see this image, here's that quick image of before and after exercise, how much our brain enjoys us, even after just a 20-minute walk. But here's the cycle again, taking recommendations here. But what happens, and you may be able to relate to this, is you have fatigue or pain, which leads to us moving less. It leads to less activity, which, as I just spoke to, leads to lower motivation, which means we don't want to get up and move anymore, which results in more weakness. More weakness then is more fatigue and more pain. And this cycle just continues. And it's important to find a way to try to get out of it if you can. But I think you can all see how this is just a spiral that sometimes leads to significant demobility. So next here, and if anybody was at our Cancer Bridges event with the Innovation Center, we did screenings for grip strength, bone density, x-rays, nutrition, and balance. And one of the things we did is grip strength. And I love talking about this topic because it's also very OT specific. But reduced hand grip strength has a connection to, and this is shown in a lot of research, an increased risk of cognitive decline, an increased risk of falls, and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. And this is so fascinating to me because all we're really talking about is how strong are your muscles in your forearm. That is amazing to me that it's connected to all of these other health outcomes. But I think what's really important to kind of understand, especially when you look at the full picture here, if you don't have good grip strength, you're not able to hold on to the grab bars anymore, or you're not able to hold on or open a water bottle or squeeze the soap out of a bottle. And that's the part I think that starts to become frustrating, and it leads to all of these other risks as well. Another very simple biomarker test is the timed up and go test. And this is a test where stand up, you walk 30 feet, you walk back, and you sit back down. Similarly, this one has a lot of great data about its increased risk of falls and decreased mobility, as well as the cognitive ones I talked about before. And I like to share that because these tests are so simple. It seems like all we're doing is talking about how our body moves and functions. So why do these tests matter in our lives and in healthcare as a whole? And I think it's because it shows how much everyday activities matter. Health is not just about our muscles are strong or we're able to move well. It's about being able to do those things that are important to you. And then it's a very unique OT perspective that is really trying to find its way all across healthcare as well, which is fantastic. So a couple more pieces of research here. And again, things that you may know or you've talked about or heard. One is weight-bearing exercises can improve bone density. Bone density is a common side effect of a lot of the cancer treatments. The loss of bone density is. Aerobic exercise can help with endurance and fatigue. Strength and balance exercises are going to help improve our fall risks or help improve lessening our chances of a fall risk. And physical activity is supporting our mental health, as I talked about a lot in this first section here. So weight-bearing activities. Here's just some examples. I want to give you guys some things to think about or maybe walk away with as well. So just stomping. If you are just sitting and stomping your feet, that counts as a weight-bearing activity. But walking is probably the best example. And the reason why it's so important to do the weight-bearing activities is our bodies are really smart. If we are laying down all day for a long period of time, our bodies understand and know my bones don't need this calcium anymore. They're not being used. This is one of the only times you can really say if you don't use it, you lose it. So that making sure our bones know that they're needed by getting up, walking, stomping, just moving around a little bit. That's really important in keeping that bone density high, especially if you're at risk of losing your bone density. Other activities, aerobic activities, I put walking in here again, but running or walking, anything that's going to elevate the heart rate, swimming, and I'm sure there's plenty other activities that are escaping me right now. And the last one here is balance. And those are activities like yoga or Tai Chi where we can help improve our risk of falls here. All right, so that was section 1 done about the importance of physical activity and why it matters so much, especially for those with cancer or going through cancer treatment. But I want to start this one with a quote. And again, this is from an occupational therapist, one of our trailblazers. Her name was Mary Riley. And the quote is, "Man, through the use of his hands, as they are energized by mind and will, can influence the state of his own health." And really what that means is if we are able to use our hands the way we want to, the way we need to, and our brain is connected to them, we know what we're doing, we can change the state of how we feel. It's not saying we're curing anything, but we can change how we go about every day and how we're feeling. Again, a really fascinating and impactful 14, 15 words here. So doing the things that matter the most, and I alluded to this slide a little bit earlier because I think it's so important, but it's really that health is not about test scores. It's not about saying, oh, I got to this percentile today, or I lost this much weight or gained this much weight. It is really about being able to do the activities that make your life meaningful. It's about doing the activities that give you a sense of purpose. And there's a really, really famous study, and I'm calling it the curious case of the plants, that was done in a nursing home. And what they did was they gave half the participants or residents a plant for them to take care of. And they gave the other half nothing. They did not get a plant. And what they found was the group that received the plant and were told that they needed to keep it alive and take care of it had improved their well-being. They had greater activity levels. They had better health outcomes. They were at more social events. They were more likely to check in on their neighbors. And that, again, is just fascinating. It shows us that the importance of us being able to live out our roles or find a purpose or feel that we matter and we are important is so uniquely human. but it's also something every single human experiences on this planet. We all need to feel like we have that sense of purpose. And when we start to lose that, we start to lose some health outcomes as well. So again, when humans are given meaningful responsibilities, even something very small, like taking care of a plant, their health and well-being can improve. Again, just a very fascinating and interesting study. So we talked about those maybe higher intensity exercises, and they're really important. But now I want to get into leisure activities. And I bolded the word leisure on this slide very intentionally because I'm saying to be healthy does not necessarily mean you need to be going to every single workout class or really pushing your body to its absolute limits. Leisure activities, and that can be playing cards, drawing, singing, socializing with friends, were associated let me back up with this study. They found that if you participate in 2 leisure activities a week for at least 30 minutes, you had a 25% chance to decrease your falls. Again, fascinating stuff. You don't have to try to break the world record for sorry, I keep looking at the chat here. You don't have to try to break the world record for weights lifted or exercise classes attended. It's just staying active in these activities that matter. And regular creative activities has been associated with up to 31% lower odds of developing depression. So again, finding activities, art, creative expression, any way you can is really, really important. So I wanted to share this personal story too, and it kind of ties back to some of the things that we were talking about. But one of my coworkers was recently diagnosed with ovarian cancer, had been going through a lot of treatments, had just come back to work, and we were just chatting over lunch, and she was saying, the most frustrating thing to me was I couldn't hold my pencil anymore. And if you tell your doctor that, or any healthcare provider, and I'm not, there's many fantastic doctors out there. This is not a diss at them at all. But if you tell them that, or even just a friend, you tell a friend this, it can feel like it's so trivial. But that frustration of like, I can't do this anymore is so real. And finding ways to keep your hands active, engaged, to find activities that you enjoy, that you want to participate in, is just so important here. So one of the things that's out there on the internet are called leisure checklists. I would encourage you guys to check them out. There's way too many, in my opinion, but there are a lot out there. It just goes through a list of every type of activity you can possibly think of. And in all of these activities, are you interested in doing this? Yes or no? And it could just help expand the leisure activities that you are participating in. And one of the things I wanted to bring up as well is just the fact that all you guys are here is fantastic. This is one of those things that I'm talking about. You guys are here to socialize, to learn. This is keeping your brain active. You're showing that you're investing in yourself and that you really care, that you want to get better. And stuff as simple as that is just so important. I'm not going to read every recommendation I have on here, but here's just a few. And again, you will find one that is meaningful and important to you. But painting, drawing, puzzles, crochet, stretching, walking for the 100th time, saying hello to a neighbor, yoga, all this stuff. And again, I just pulled some from that activity list. But there's so many out here that are so wonderful, that can really, really help. And I think there's an activity out there for everyone. So I'm wrapping this up here, and I know I breezed through that pretty quickly. I will have time for questions and comments. I can stay as long as you guys need me to. But the main things I want you guys to take away from this is there's 2 parts of this that are so important. There's the value of exercise, of keeping our bodies as strong as we can, keeping our bone density high, our grip strength strong so that we can do all of these things. But then there's also the value of just regular activities too, these leisure activities, the value of activities that are meaningful to you, that matter, that the activities that make you, the ones that you'll feel more like yourself if you're able to participate in them. And the other thing I put in here is to give it time. You don't have to rush through and try to find 1,000 activities at once. It's not a race. It shouldn't feel stressful to try to find something important or or meaningful. So give it time. If you pick something up and you don't really like it, you can put it down. There's really no huge risks in any of these. All right, so that brings me to the end of my presentation.